This is the Garmin Forerunner 965, and for those of you paying attention on this channel, it's been the watch that's been glued to my wrist for the majority of 2023 since it was released back in March. And actually, I had this watch before its release for testing to make my review, so I've actually been wearing this watch for almost a full year now. Despite having access to every modern day smartwatch on the market right now, I still wear the Garmin Forerunner 965 on most days, and I've been wearing it 24/7, sleeping at night with it, doing my daily routine with it, going on my training runs, and I've even completed several ultra marathons with this watch. And on top of that, I've probably run well over 1,000 miles while wearing the Forerunner 965 in 2023. So yeah, you could say I like the 965 so much so that I'd probably call it my favorite smartwatch of 2023. But before you run off and buy one just because I said that, wait until the end of this video because it may not be right for you, even though it is right for me. If we rewind time to about a week ago, I released a video called The Best and Worst Smartwatches of 2023, where I gave out a whole bunch of silly little awards in a variety of categories like battery life, best looking, most accurate, best value, and I myself didn't even notice it while I filmed that video until after and I rewatched the thing that I didn't even mention the Garmin Forerunner 965 at all in any of those categories. It did not win any of those categories, and I found that kind of odd because, like I said, this is my favorite smartwatch of 2023, so what gives? You see, the thing is that the Garmin Forerunner 965 is sort of good at everything, but a master of none. For example, it's got great battery life, but it's not class-leading or the best in the market when you have things like the Garmin Enduro 2, the COROS Vertex 2, or even the Suunto Vertical. The 965 also has amazing mapping and navigation, but again, it's not the best at that either when compared to something like the Epix PRO, which has a few extra features in mapping and navigation like double tap to zoom when you're on the map page, which is oddly missing on the 965, and that just frustrates me. And when it comes to GPS and heart rate sensor accuracy on the 965, it's not top of the line there either, even though it is still really good. But when you compare it to something like the less expensive Garmin Venu 3 here, this has a newer heart rate sensor, which actually has a couple of extra features like skin temperature detection and ECG on board, where the 965 has last generation sensor which lacks these features. And the design, while it is great and minimalistic, is missing some of the premium features that we see on other models. For example, the Garmin Instinct 2X has the built-in flashlight on board, which I find to be extremely handy, and we don't have that on the 965. I wish it had it. As for the price on the 965, at $599, it's fair. That's certainly a fair price for all of the features you're getting here. However, it is far from being the best value option, especially with devices on the market now, like the COROS Pace 3, which have a ton of features at $229. At this point in the video, you're probably wondering, what is Dave even talking about? He called this watch his favorite of 2023, and all he's been doing so far is bashing on it. Well, let me explain. After laying that all out there, why is this watch my favorite? Why do I choose to wear this every day? Well, it's that frustrating reality of personal preference. Personal preference, my friends, plays a huge role in what device is right for you. And this is extremely frustrating for both you and me because in the comments section on this YouTube channel, I get hundreds of comments every single day. Comments like, what's that watch you're wearing on your wrist? What do you wear every day? And what's the best on the market right now? And the reality is, I cannot answer that question for you. All I can do is test these watches out and share the facts about the accuracy and what I think about it and share my opinions, but that opinion is purely just that, my opinion. When it comes to what is right for you, I don't know that answer because I don't know what activities you're doing, what size watch you're comfortable with, what kind of display you like, and all those other little details that only you can decide about. But as for me, the Garmin Forerunner 965 strikes a really nice balance of performance, features, and form factor, and that last part is important. The form factor of a watch might be the most critical feature when it comes to my personal preference. I've worn larger watches, and I do really like watches like the Enduro 2 here, or the Epix PRO. They're extremely nice. However, over longer lengths of time while testing these watches out, I find that at the end of the day, I tend to leave them on my nightstand because I personally am a smaller human. I'm only about 5 5.5 feet tall, about 150 pounds, and a 51mm watch is kind of big for my wrist. That's not to say I can't pull it off, and I have pulled it off. It's just not as ideal as a 46mm watch, particularly with the 965 because of its really light weight. Another thing to consider about the 965 is that it actually has one of the best screen-to-body ratios in the entire Garmin lineup. As you can see here on the right, I've got the 965. On the left, I have the Epix PRO 51mm, and these two both have the exact same display. Both have 1000 nits of brightness, and both are 1.4 inches AMOLED. And as you can see, the case of the 965 is significantly smaller, which leads to thinner bezels and a more modern appearance. When it comes to materials, the 965 is mainly made out of plastic, which you might think is a bad thing, but it does have some advantages as well. If I flip both of these watches over, you're gonna notice something right off the bat, and it's that my Epix PRO here has been trashed. It is scratched up on the back like crazy. These are scratches, they don't just wipe off, and it's a pretty big bummer because this is a very expensive watch. One advantage to the plastic on the 965 is the fact that black plastic is black all the way through. So if I scratch the case on the 965, which it appears I haven't even done that too much, it's way less noticeable than when you scratch it on a piece of metal. Another perk to that plastic build, like I just mentioned a little while ago, is going to be the weight, and this plays a role into my personal preference and form factor as well, because this watch comes in at only 53 grams, which is extremely lightweight for a watch with these capabilities. At the end of the day, the Garmin Forerunner 965, in my opinion, strikes a really good balance between performance, form factor, and battery life. And I've really enjoyed my time with this watch, and I intend to keep wearing it well into 2024 until something else strikes my interest. For example, if Garmin decides to update it to something like a 975. Keep in mind, I don't actually know anything about a future update to this watch. I'm just speculating here. One would imagine there will be a 975 eventually. With that, we've hit sort of the end of this entire video. If you're still watching and you found this video fun or helpful, please go down and hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel down below so you don't miss more videos from me in the future. And now's the point of the video where I want to hear from you. Do you own a Garmin Forerunner 965? Is it something you've been tempted to pick up but you haven't done it yet? Let me know in the comments down below what features sold you on it, why you avoided it, or if you haven't already and if you like it or not. I'd love to hear from you. And while you're down there leaving that comment, make sure to check out the links in my description down below if you're planning to pick up a Garmin Forerunner 965, a Fenix, an Epix, or any other watch I showed in this video. Those links are affiliate links and they do help support this channel, but they cost nothing extra to you. Make sure to check out my Instagram, follow me over there. Make sure to check out my website, merch store, and my podcast channel where you can listen to me rant for hours on end about these things. And finally, of course, I can't end this video without asking you to go down and hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel down below so you don't miss more videos from me in the future. That'd be great. With that, friends, we've made it to the end of this sort of love letter to the Garmin Forerunner 965. I hope you liked it, and I will see you next time. Bye.